There's some jolly music playing in the background, very French music playing. I wonder how the South Koreans are reacting to that. I wonder if it speaks to them. But perhaps there's a reason for it. So the director is called Ryu Seung-wan, and he feels rather concerned by what's going on in the world. He also made a film called Battleship Island in 2017. And when you are South Korean, of course, you're very sensitive to the battles in your own country between the North and South Korea. There we have Ryu Seung-wan, the director. He is one of the 4 key directors in his country. There's Park Chan-wook, of course. Old Boy. There's also Bong Joon-ho, also a star in France since he won the Golden Palm for Parasite, and Kim Jung-won, who directed I Met the Devil. Ryu Seung-wan, who we have here this evening, used to assist Park Chan-wook and stood out because of his energy and all of the contained anger in his first shorts. He made a short film called Die Bad in 2000, which was monitoring the local mafia. So here we have the crew from the film, which is called I, the Executioner in English. The first in the series was a huge success. And it was one of the most successful films in South Korea. It was the most profitable one, the 3rd most profitable one ever made. It was just called Veteran. And the title of this follow-up film is, in English, it's being called I, the Executioner, although the French are calling it Veteran 2. Starring the same police officer. So here we are on the red carpet to celebrate a film called I, the Executioner. It's the final midnight screening. There were 3. There were The Balconettes by Noémie Merlan, which was a gore film. The story of 3 flatmates who were observing their neighbor from their balcony, and things started to get a bit out of hand. It's Noémie Merlan directed that one, and also they're always striking films when we're talking about the Midnight series. The other one was, of course, The Surfer, directed by Lorcan Finnegan, the Irish director, and starring Nicolas Cage. But meanwhile, for this 3rd and final midnight screening, we have a South Korean film directed by Ryu Seung-wan. In fact, there was a 4th midnight screening. It was called Twilight of the Warriors, directed by Soi Chang from Macau. So there have been all kinds of films at the 77th Cannes Film Festival. Jean-Christophe Meurice is a theatre director here in France, has also made films, and he will be wrapping up the director's fortnight and with a film called Chien de Navarre. In the theatre, he often works with improvisation, working with absurd comedians, a bit like the Monty Pythons. So, Jung Hae-in is the chappie in the brown suit. He has become very well known in South Korea because he featured in the melodrama. This is the chappie we're talking about. He featured in a film about someone who was in love with a prostitute, and everyone was following the story. And he won the hearts of South Korea, and very gradually he's become a real box office star, featuring in all kinds of films. He was in the previous version, from the Veteran 2015. And he's also on reality TV as well. The younger actor, Jung Hae-in. And he was the one who was signing autographs. He wanted to become an actor after having been to the theatre. When he was a teenager, he went to the theatre and he begged his family to let him to go and learn how to be an actor. The parents refused to send him to acting school, but when he was at high school, he started to do theatre, and that's how it all began. So that actor, Jung Hae-in, is a huge star. And so the one with the brown jacket on has got, 11 million followers on his social media in South Korea. So here we have the crew from the film I, the Executioner, directed by Ryu Seung-wan. They're all lining up, ready to glide up the 24 steps leading to the festival hall. Meanwhile, the movie theatre will be full, and people will be waiting patiently for the crew to step into the room. Well, here we have the crew from the film I, the Executioner, by Ryu Seung-wan. This is a world premiere screening. It's quite an event because a film dating from 2015 called Veteran, the prequel to this one, was one of the biggest financial successes in film in South Korea. 13 million people went to see it in a country which only has 49 million. So that's a huge percentage of the population went to see it. It's a detective film, a funny film. The main theme is corruption, and in South Korea, corruption is a very, very hot topic. There's a lot of corruption going on there. All of those with power, politicians and businessmen, etc., easily dip their hands into the till. Two previous presidents of the country have already been sentenced to about 15 years in prison each, with record-breaking fines as well. So this film underlines the difference between the rich and the poor, And it's all about corruption, and those are themes which we'll often find in South Korean films. So there we go. It chimes in with Veteran, the film from 2015. Directed, obviously, by Ryu Seung-hwa also. That film, Veteran from 2015, was never released in France, but Veteran 2, or I, the Executioner, as it's being called in English, will be released in France. In the brown jacket, we have Hwang Yong-min, who has been to France before, to Cannes before. He was here on the red carpet in 2013. There's another actor on the steps there, Jung Hae-in, who is there, the younger chap on the left there. Now, he is a true star in his homeland. Very, very elegant. And there we have the director himself, Ryu Seung-hwan, who directed Veteran back in 2015, of which tonight's film is more or less a sequel. He also did Escape from Mogadishu in 2021. He did Battleship Island in 2017. So recently he has made a series of films where his hero fails, and that kind of gave him the blues a little bit. So he's decided to come back to something a little more light-hearted, something a bit more fun. At the beginning of the film, of Veteran, the old one, it was a bit of a pastiche of a Scorsese style. And a lot of quotes from Hong Kong films from the 90s. But here we are talking about a detective who is a bit ham-fisted, who is chasing after criminals day and night. Often his family life suffers. And then all of a sudden there's a professor who is murdered. And there is a link to previous cases, so that it sparks fears of a serial killer. And shockwaves ripple throughout the nation. And so in response to this, a detective is recruited, not necessarily young, but a detective is recruited. And then the film tells you what happens from there on. So there we have the crew from I, the Executioner. This is the final midnight session for this Cannes Film Festival. We'll see them enter into the building. And we can say, see you tomorrow for more films in competition.
Mesdames et messieurs, Ryu Seung-hwan.